let that thing warm up. I ain't let it warmed up.
Hey, Brian.
Hello, Kurt.
It's a cold day, so you're
Yep.
You're letting her warm up a little bit, huh?
Gotta let her warm up. Get that carbonation, you know.
Yeah, that's right. That's
fill
right.
up, you know. So I hadn't had it out in a good while.
Yeah,
so,
it's been a little bit cooler, so I understand that.
Wouldn't be out today if it wasn't for you guys.
No, not with that top down.
No.
Yeah, that's for sure.
No, don't got that automatic choke, so it'll.
We'll let her warm up here a minute, and then we'll go around and talk about it a little bit.
Then we can shut it off. I mean, I don't have to let it warm up that much, but you can hear that automatic choke letting it rev up. So.
Hey, it's great that all that works like it's supposed to.
I was lucky. You know, sometimes you got to hit the accelerator to
pop it down.
And I may have to do that, you know.
Yeah, go ahead if you want.
I ain't getting back in it. That helped it.
Yeah, there she comes down.
Yeah.
So we're here today talking to my brother-in-law, Brian, actually, with his 1968 Ford Mustang. It's all original. It's a ragtop. Beautiful color, by the way.
That's natural. That's factory color.
That's factory color. So,
ivy gold, they call it. Ivy gold.
You know, I was telling Greg coming over here, I thought it was an ivy gold color.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
that's great.
Yeah.
Got factory hubcaps.
Yeah,
factory style tires.
Yeah, they're newer tires. They came out with the Firestone, and that's what it had on it. So,
right.
You know, they're all brand new. You know.
If you wouldn't mind, shut it off, and we'll do a little bit of walk around here. So it's a 302. Of course, it's an automatic.
Right.
Probably a little C6 transmission there behind it. Tell us a little bit of the story on your car and how you come to own it.
Well, I found this car when I was working as an electrician back in, let's see, it had to be 84, 85. I was coming across Tesson Ferry, and it was sitting in the yard.
In the yard.
Me and my buddy, the guy, Don Williams, is the one that got me into doing electrical. And he was a big Mustang fan. That's all he ever owned. And I told him, I said, hey, that Mustang's for sale back there. So he had to get home, and so I just happened to stop back by there. Older couple bought it new. I got paperwork in the glove box. There was a Ford dealer right there on Big Bend and Manchester, right on the corner.
St. Louis area.
St. Louis area, right in Richmond Heights, Maplewood. Yeah. And so I stopped and talked to him. I got Don back. We went over. Original owners bought it, and they were going to give it to their granddaughter. Well, it wasn't cool enough for her.
Yeah.
So they said they wanted to sell it. And so Don talked to him, and he ended up getting this car for like, I think it was $500.
Wow.
Now it ran, don't get me wrong, but the original mileage is a little less than what I got on this, but it was all original miles. I never had the odometer turned back, you know.
Sure.
It's not, you ain't supposed to do that.
So from the restoration,
from restoration,
you kept the miles where they were.
I kept the miles where they were. I didn't turn it back or nothing.
And then you just documented.
I documented it, because I got antique plates on it.
Sure.
You know, so, and I kept getting it inspected every 2 years, and I said, what the hell am I doing that for? You know.
Yeah, you don't really have to do that.
So anyway, we went back, and of course it didn't want to start right away, so we dumped gas in the carburetor, and it has that Holly 4-barrel, factory. And it fired up, and Don didn't live far from there, so we took it over to his house, and then got it running, and it was running pretty good, you know. So his wife, Janice, was a school teacher at Festus for 37 years, and she drove back for Festus from South County. They live up there by Jefferson Barracks, or JB, the gravesite up there.
The memorial.
Where Dad's buried.
Sure.
And, so anyway, fuel pump went out on it. He had it towed back home. Put it in his garage. It's sitting there from 92. He put it in that garage. And it sat there up until he died 19 years ago.
And then you became...
Unbeknown to me, I became, because Janice, his wife, like family, she taught Debbie in school. And Debbie did gymnastics.
Debbie's your wife.
Debbie's my wife. Yeah. She's the owner of me.
Yeah, not the car.
Not the car.
Yeah.
So anyway, Janice said, hey, you know, let's go out in the garage, her garage. I said, okay. So this car said, she had 2-car garage, and it's set in the corner, and Don had stuff on it and whatnot. And she, with tears in her eyes, she said, this is your car. I said,
so
what?
you inherited this car?
I inherited this car from Don, and Don left it to me.
And this is at the time that he had passed, shortly thereafter you inherited the car.
He died. Yeah, we had him at home. We kept him at home. He passed away at his house. And
so once you got the car, it needed restored.
Oh, yeah. I mean, was there any rust on it? There wasn't. No, it wasn't rusted at all. There wasn't no rust in it at all, except for the floor pan.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't this. This is a color, but it was dull.
Sure. So it had the original paint.
Yeah, this is all the original. Yeah. That's what it looked like. And Don was going to have it completely restored. So I guess out of his memory, I called that buddy of ours, which was Don's buddy too, and told him, I said, come get this car, take it back to your shop, take it down, put it back. And I said, let me know when you're done or when you need money. Took him 3.5 years to restore it.
So when you bought it, it went straight to the restoration
shop.
when
I inherited it.
When you inherited
yeah.
it. I'll correct myself.
Yeah.
So you sent it there, and everything that's done to it today, you had the restoration shop do all that before you brought it home.
Right. Yeah.
Well, that's great that you did that in his memory. So the original color, I'm going to open your door here.
Yeah.
Was this ivy gold, even though he's repainted it a lot of times. You can go in there and look.
But it never had a sticker on it saying it. My son-in-law looked, and he goes, what, never had that? He took the numbers off of that down there. The plate. Yeah, because he said that he's a body man and paint man.
You can get your paint codes.
And that's all DuPont paint, and it's got 6 clear coat on it.
So how old's this restoration? You've owned it
19 years.
So it's 19-year-old.
Be 20 this year.
Be 20 this year. So you had it restored and back to this condition. It's a beautiful car.
I had the dash redone because it was all cracked.
Right. The dashes, everything's in excellent shape. I know you keep your top down because that's what convertible guys do. Exactly. What color's the top?
Black with a
so it has a black top.
Split glass in it.
Right.
Some of them had plastic and they just fold up in it.
Sometimes it's easier, in the convertibles I've owned, when I get them out, the top's down before I leave. So you might as well leave it down.
Right.
Got a nice boot on it.
Yeah. I had to buy the boot because the car didn't have the boot.
Didn't have the boot.
It didn't. That's not a factory boot.
But it does match well.
It matches it, yeah.
And I think that was an option on a convertible.
It is. It is.
And it snaps on probably, correct?
It's pushed. What you do is it's pushed in.
I see. It's got the little hooks.
Got the little hooks right here. Yeah.
Yeah, it goes around the chrome molding there.
It comes off pretty easy, but
there you go. You don't have to take it off, Brian. That's
fine.
But
anyway, it hooks in. You just snap it down in there, and it hooks around. They didn't come out with snaps on them. Because,
that's actually a quicker, better.
Yeah. And what they said was snaps, and you find it on newer ones too. They rust. When I say newer, not the new cars, because they don't have those anymore.
Right.
But back in the day when they had the snaps would rust around them.
And obviously it's a power top.
Oh yeah, here's a switch right. Stupid me, I always forget which way it's supposed to go.
Yeah, well, you figure it out pretty quick.
See where the switch is right there?
I got you.
That black switch.
Yeah.
And that other little toggle switch there, it had a light when you opened the hood up.
Oh yeah. Let you know your hood was unlatched? Or?
Well, no, it let you, if you had a little light in. I guess they had put that in there. I don't know. It could have been factory, probably was. But I didn't like that light in there,
I see.
So, because I'm always a stickler, something gets stuck on, it's going to run the battery down when you're not out there. So anyway, I just disconnected it. And
let's check out the trunk.
Okay.
What I like about these original cars so many times is how authentic guys keep them. And I know you've kept this car this way, so.
Yeah, we got to make sure we don't lose this key or we're going to be pushing it back in.
Yeah, you got one key, huh? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. It's got the mat.
Yeah, that's what.
Tire cover.
That's what it came out with. And now I got the spare tires got the same hubcap on it. So there's 5 caps that go with it.
So 5 caps come with the car,
Yeah.
Well, that's great. Got the stickers. Looks like original stickers.
Yeah, they're all original.
Yeah.
They're all original.
That's good that he worked around all that.
Yeah, he taped around that because I told him don't take nothing off that I know of. He might have took some. And seeing it's got the stamps in it.
Sure,
and everything else
for the
know.
VIN, yeah.
Yeah, for the VIN.
And they put those in several places on this.
And I didn't know that until I did some research on it.
Right.
You know? And but like I said, you know, it's always been a good running car. I just never did. And I hadn't replaced the bulb in this because it had that. I might have loosened it, to be honest with you. This trunk bulb.
Well, and you didn't have this car restored so you could drive it as a daily driver. This is a fair weather car, like most of our cars.
Right.
So one thing I noticed different about Fords, and when I look at them, you know, when you pop the trunk on my Firebird, for example, the rubber's around here.
Right.
On a Ford, it's on the deck lid.
Yeah, they're up on the top.
So it's kind of in reverse of the way most of the GMs are. They snapped on this.
And I questioned that.
Well, Ford cut this clean. It don't have that ridge.
Right.
But your deck lid does. So it's got little pins that push in there, I believe.
And I asked that buddy of mine that restored it. He says they put them up there because he said having them down on here, water gets in there.
Well, actually holds water,
and it will rot them seals out.
Right.
And I said, well, that's very understandable.
So, yeah, and it's actually,
like I said, all this chrome's original. He polished it up.
Okay, so and that's
bumpers
was my next
question.
Actually,
you see some dings in it, you know.
Well, that's just personality on your car. So the bumpers are original.
Everything,
the tail lights,
yep.
the wheel molding, the trim,
yeah,
all that's original.
Yeah.
It's great. So someone took care of this car even before you became the owner.
Older couple had it.
Yeah.
They bought it new.
Right.
And I think it was like $2,800 or something like that, $2,300.
So I don't necessarily remember what they called this color inside. They called it something that went with this Ivy Gold.
It went with it, but
I don't recall the color. And guys that know Mustangs could break it down, or they could just look at it and tell you many times.
Yeah, because
Ask them.
Oh. Ask them what?
To guess what color, if they know what.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, if someone happens to know exactly what you call it.
It wasn't black.
Yeah.
Yeah, it came out like that.
I like the split colors, you know, the black carpeting along with, you know, that's the thing about old cars. They had such a variety of colors. When you look at cars and trucks today, it's white, silver, and gray. Parking lots are full of them.
Yeah.
There's nothing
in between.
Nothing really in between, you know, unless you're willing to pay for it.
Right.
So it's got a beautiful dash. I see AC brackets or for AC vents.
Yeah,
it's an air car.
Yeah.
So you got a convertible that's an air conditioner.
And I never understood why they would put air conditioning in a convertible.
I know, but
you and I had that talked about it before.
I had a Malibu one time, a '65 Malibu that was an AC car.
Yeah.
And a ragtop. So I
never did. I said, if you're going to have an air conditioner in a convertible, what's the purpose of a convertible?
Yeah, it's a neat option, but and you know, obviously someone paid for that. But well, let's take a look at the motor.
I had it all rebuilt. Even the title's got 302 on it. And I didn't know. To be honest with you, I thought it was a 289.
289.
That's what most of them came out with.
I think.
But the reason they had these 302s, that's actually a 302 Boss motor.
Oh, I see.
They had that. They had certain years that they put these in.
Right.
And was 68. They quit doing it in 68. I did research on that. And the mechanic, he's a Ford mechanic, and he told me the stories on them. He goes, they had these motors, and they said, you know, why don't we make this car year a little bit more beefier?
Right.
And that's what they did. So
well, and it doesn't take him up any more space than the 289.
No.
Now you've got your AC.
Yep.
Power steering.
Yep.
It's loaded up, really. It's a power brake car.
Oh yeah.
From the factory. That's great. Is it drum or disc?
It's drum.
Drum all the way around.
But
power.
Yeah.
I think it probably, to be correct, it would be. So
they're drum.
And they stop great. I mean,
they stop, but to adjust them things, you got to have that little paddle tool.
Yeah,
and you got a jack. It does need some adjustment on it, but it stops. To me, though, getting in our new vehicles, you barely hit a brake, you stop.
It's not supposed to be like that.
Right.
Yeah.
These here, you go about. You think you're going to the floor with it and going, is the damn thing going to stop or not? You know.
And a lot of that's because we aren't used to that.
We're not used to it. You know, we're not used to it.
I remember if my pedal was just off the floor, that's enough brake.
That's pretty much what this is, you know. And to be honest with you, it scared me at first because when I was bringing it home, because I drove it home from Fenton, and I was bringing it home, and I was coming up on 141 and to a stoplight because I came down 21 through Hillsboro, and I was pushing the brake, and it just kept going. I mean, not that you could feel the pressure on it.
Right.
And finally, I got it. It's almost like I felt to the floor.
Yeah.
You know, and it stopped. You know, because I went like that, and it went threw me forward.
Yeah,
I got to get used to it.
And for classic car guys that want to do that upgrade, you can buy front disc brake kits for them.
Oh,
you can buy four-wheel disc brake kits for them.
But
and make them stop like a new car. But
well, yeah, but if you want original,
and you are original.
Yeah.
I mean, in every
I'm old school as far as that goes. You know,
every way. You know,
Yeah.
I do notice something that Ford done that was sometimes an option on some of the GM cars,
Mm-hmm.
and Mopar done it as well, is the dual mirrors. You know, many times GM cars had the single mirror,
Right.
and you paid extra for that mirror if you
Right.
chose to get it, unless it was an SS car.
Right.
I think most SS cars had that, but man, it's a beautiful Mustang. It's I haven't been around a lot of Mustangs, but you know, they're.
Well, I've been around them, but I've been around a lot of those. You know, buddies of mine had cars.
Well, they were
different
crazy popular in this. Well, they've always been since they came out new in 64 and a half, 65, whatever you want to call it.
Well,
even through today,
64 and a half is when it came out.
Yeah, so
they made it a half in between 64 and 65.
Right, so it was a half year on the model.
Lee Iacocca.
Yeah, well, it's a beautiful car, and they've done a great job on the restoration. It's
yeah, you know, is it perfect? No, I don't think so. I find flaws, but not on the paint.
right.
But I find different things. You know, when over the years you get to looking, you know, and I'm going, man, I wish I had done this.
I know.
wish
If it's
I
like
done
my
that.
car, I know where every little blemish and flaw is.
Right,
you
and
know?
I do too on this. You know, but
And when you own them,
it's
you
hard
do.
hard to know where it's at.
Right.
But I know one or two. Is it something you can see? I mean, I can't see it. I know where it's at.
Well, those
you know.
perfect cars come in on a trailer.
Yeah,
They get moved from here to there.
yeah,
And then they go back on the trailer and they go
Absolutely.
home. And you've got a car you can drive and enjoy when you want to.
yeah,
And,
yeah.
And that burden's gone when you don't have that trailer queen show car.
Yeah.
You know, so
Well, what I was thinking, you know, I've been thinking to myself, but thought about getting a different set of wheels. With Ford makes them, and they made them back then, and they still do. You can buy them, but it's the wheel without. It's got the pony in the middle, but they're like
you're talking about the Magnum wheels.
like the Magnum wheels. You know, it's got the stars on it. You
Yeah.
know, and the color. It's got the pony with the red on
I
it.
think that, and I could be wrong, and if somebody wants to correct me, that's fine. I think they call those Magnum 500 wheels for the Ford.
They may be.
And
They may be.
you know, if you chose to go that route, you've still got these. It's a cool thing about wheels and tires; you can switch them back and forth.
Right. And with these, I need to make a statement of, are these original hubcaps? Well, they are to me. I got them from Ford Mustang. I have the original hubcaps. They're hanging down there in the shop.
Sure.
But they were just the round, bang
Nothing
on.
Nothing
fancy.
Nothing
It's got
fancy.
Ford on it, but
Right.
nothing fancy, you know.
Well,
But that's about the beefiest. I mean, that's about the bling that I put on it.
yeah.
Those hubcaps are $125 a piece.
Oh, I'm sure. So, you know, anything for a collectible car seems to be high in value, but those look great, and they actually look correct to me.
Yeah, and
on
they
there.
are. I mean, they did come out on.
For a Mustang,
They
they
did
say
come out.
Mustang in the center.
Yeah. They did come out with it. Everything's original, Greg. Everything.
And you know, in '68,
That's one reason I don't really like to drive it
68
that
on a
much.
GM wouldn't have had the wing windows.
No.
They eliminated that
Exactly.
after '67. But here's a '68 Mustang with your.
You
with
can open it up and have them.
I love wing windows.
Yeah.
They accent the cars well, and
Yeah.
they just look cool to me. But
in 20 years, you've got 300 miles on it.
Maybe 5, maybe, and I doubt that. That'd be just saying that to be safe.
yeah,
Because no, I probably don't have 300 miles on it.
yeah.
You know?
Well,
Here to Festus, maybe 4 or 5 times. DeSoto, I've cruised it through the park, St. Francis State Park, a couple of times. You know,
did a little Main Street cruise.
Main Street
got-
cruise twice, 3 times. Debbie did it once.
And your
Trish.
sons drove it, your
Kevin,
wife drove
yeah.
it. So
Now
yeah.
Kevin took it and had a big. When he was with his one girlfriend, the one you really liked.
Oh yeah.
They went and had she was a photographer, and I got it down here in the basement, but they made a big portrait of this car when I got it. They took it down to Washington State Park.
Oh, they took some pictures.
Yeah. And so Jennifer took that pictures of it, and I gave one to Greg. He was the one that restored it, and took one up there to him. Of course, he's out of business now. He retired.
Well, I don't think you could get more factory correct. The only thing different is you've got fresh paint on it, but it's an original car in every way.
Yeah, they took it all the way down to the bone, and then they primed it. I have to tell you the story. I was taking pictures. He called, and I said, okay, 1, 2 steps, I go by and take pictures after work. And Greg and Jan went to Hawaii for their vacation. So Christopher, his son, called me, and he said, hey, you want to come by? We got one of our guys painted your car over the weekend to get it, we wanted to get it all painted.
Sure.
I said, okay, yeah, so after work, I walked in there, and he was busy with the client, so I went on back into the body shop. Now, mind you, the door was right here. And I walk in, the car's, I thought they moved the car, because it's a big place. And I'm looking around, I see the fastbacks, and I'm looking, went back in. I said, where's my car at? That's where it's always set. I said, well, then we got an issue.
Don't tell me.
Yeah. That dude painted it the rust color.
Ah.
The red rust looking color.
Yeah, the kind of the coppery looking thing.
Yeah. And it had on the windshield, written in chalk that they use, what to put on there.
Ivy Gold, yeah.
So, and I went to DuPont and bought all the paint. That paint wasn't cheap. So, with that being said, he comes out and he goes, he didn't know because he didn't even go out in the shop all day long. And I said, that ain't my car. I said, it might be looking like my car, but it ain't my car.
Yeah.
He goes, oh my God. And his dad was due home. That was on a Friday. His dad was due home Saturday.
So they wasted a little time in paint, is what you're saying. They painted it the wrong color.
Wrong color. And I said, well, I'm going to give you a little heads up. And he goes, what? He said, oh, we'll get it painted the color it's supposed to be. I said, it's going to take you a good while to do that. He goes, well, no, we'll have it done, a couple of 3. I said, no, you're not.
Yeah, you don't want them to brush it.
I said, you are taking it back down.
Yeah.
And sanding it all down again.
Well, and you don't want any hints of that color sticking around.
When I'm paying good money to get something done, they didn't do it for nothing.
No. No, these body shops are
back then I put $20,000 in this car.
Sure.
And so his dad called me that Monday morning, and he fired that guy. And he says, Brian, give us a month. I said, all right, I'm going to take pictures. Let me know. They took it all the way back down to the bone. And, they had the motor in it and everything ready to go.
Give it another shot, huh? So
gave it another shot.
That's a great, you don't hear about things like that happening often, but
no,
guys get wound up. They think they're really
doing you something,
doing you a favor. And
he didn't do me no favor, because man, I was steamed.
Ultimately it cost him his job.
It did cost him his job.
Yeah.
And he worked for that. He worked for him for 5 years.
Wow.
And I said, well, he must have, they said he stayed after work on Friday. I said, well, he must have drank a lot of booze when he did that. I said, because, but anyway, they got it back. He got it back, and he called me and it was done. So I said, okay, we're good. But I went over it, and I was happy with it.
Oh, as you should be. It's a beautiful car.
Yeah,
and I know we kind of put you on short notice coming over here.
No, that's fine.
But
had to let it warm up today anyway.
Well, that's right. Well, Brian, we sure appreciate you showing us your car.
Yeah.
And 1968 Mustang Convertible. It's hard to beat that, man. If you love ragtops, this is one of the best and what a lot of people are looking for.
As far as Ford Mustangs, I wouldn't. He had hard tops,
He had the coupes and
I but when he left me this, I was just, Deb and I should say, he left it Deb and I.
Right.
And but it was an honor to get it from him.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he taught me how to do electric work.
Right. Which was your profession.
That was my profession.
Right.
And it did me well. Got to retire young, and
Well, you got a great car to enjoy, and I'm sure you and your family love events and things and beautiful days where you can get it out.
They probably like it
around.
They probably like it more if I do it. But
yeah, I'm on you a lot.
You're on me.
We're brother-in-laws, but you got a great car.
We're going to do a cruise together.
Take it out and enjoy it a little bit.
Yeah, well, we're going to do a cruise together, but it's got to be nice weather. There's clouds in the sky. I don't know about that,
we'll work around those fair weather clouds.
Fair weather clouds.
I appreciate it.
Not a problem. Not a problem.
And if you guys like Heartland Hot Rods, Brian's '68 Mustang, make sure you like and share the video. Subscribe to our channel. Lots more cars coming. We would love to have you guys along. We got beautiful cars in our area here, and you've got one of many. But thank you for your time. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
And check us out on heartlandhotrods.com. Yeah, let us know what you think. I always try to put in too much here, but yeah, let us know what you think. Make sure you like and comment on the cars. If you know anything about those hubcaps or the color of that interior, something that, the official name for it. If you know any of that, but, love to have you guys along. We appreciate your time. Thanks again, Brian.
No problem. No problem.
Thank you.
Yep.